Hello, hello, and welcome back to the podcast. So I've got a guest with me today who'll be no stranger to yourselves and no stranger to your social media feed, no doubt. He's been popping up all over the show. Adam Mackay, welcome to the podcast. So you've been a estate agent now and part of the Mackay Property Group for the last 15 years. So take us back to the beginning. How did this estate agency journey begin?
Right back to the beginning. Thank you for having me on, by the way, Chris. It's nice to finally meet you. I know our ships have passed quite a few times at different events and
Absolutely.
things. Yeah, it's nice to meet you today. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, regarding my original journey, I started in 1993 when I was 13 as a Saturday boy, and was evolved and saw the highs and lows of the 90s, and then went into full-time agency when I was 20. After I realised I wasn't going to be the next Tiger Woods or Sergio Garcia, after trying my hand at golf for a bit. And then, in 2010, 15 years ago, with my dad's guidance and my previous mentor, I took the leap of going out on my own. So 15 years ago, set my own. So I know I've stepped into the self-employed agency brokerage models since. When I look back, I basically was a self-employed agent, but the only difference is I had a load more costs
Yeah.
and had to have an office and all the associated costs that go with it. So it's been a bumpy road, it's like ups and downs, and but you got to enjoy the journey, haven't you?
And did I read you're kind of in the property family? Is your dad a solicitor, a conveyancer, surveyor,
Mortgage broker,
mortgage
mortgage
broker?
broker.
There we
Yeah.
go.
So going back to 1993 is when I got came home from my paper round, freezing cold hands, and it's been snowing or icy, and I said to my dad, like, any chance if you've got any friends who can give me a job with has heating, indoors? And he was like, oh yeah, I'll get you a Saturday job instead of doing the paper round. And that's when he went to a good friend of mine, Barry, and said, you got anything for Adam to do? And he's like, yeah, photocopying. And so I need to stick the photos on the property details. And then, quickly learned a lot from those guys. I used to get paid £7.50 for a Saturday, plus a wimpy, but burger at lunchtime every Saturday, and I loved it. And yeah.
You'd be livid if you were your first job with leaflet dropping. You're like, I came out of doing my delivery business. I
Yeah,
now
yeah.
pass
It
straight down
actually
those
ended up
leaflets.
being a bit of that. Actually, I ended up doing the whole of the town in the summer holidays, and while I was at school, and it was good fun.
You're never far away from a leaflet drop.
No.
Good. So, talk me through. Were you the first agent to transport over to EXP? I
Yeah,
think you were
yeah,
certainly
myself.
towards.
Yeah, one of the first. Yeah, me and Matt Billingham from Birmingham. Yeah, we were the first two to sort of jump ship and join the EXP model in the UK. Yeah,
How did that come around? So, how long had you been running your own estate agency business for before you got to that
14,
point?
14 years, 14
Yeah.
years. And I've been searching for some of it for some time. I didn't realise what I was searching for. I was just searching for something, a change. I felt like the industry was becoming harder and harder to run a single office. I couldn't afford to have the best talent in the team because there's a lot of risk involved in that. You employ someone on a big salary and then they've got to perform. So I started researching back in 2018, 19, really heavily into like, more the Australia model. And I dabbled my toe in it, realized quickly that, there's more, it's not as easy as it sounds. So when Adam, meeting Adam, and was offered the Teams model, I kind of looked at it in the way that I don't think I can beat this, so I may as well join them. And I suppose I found my purpose really. Yeah, I've always loved helping young talent come through the ranks, um, and was forced that way really because I couldn't afford back in the day. When I first set up to get the best valuer in the town to come and work with me, so I had to grow my own. But yeah, that's given me the most enjoyment in my whole career, really. So now I'm getting to work with lots of other, some really, really experienced, some with bigger businesses than me, some, starting out. So I found my purpose. I love working with people and coming up with ideas. Yeah. And they can go and do the hard graft. Yeah, yeah.
And was it a case that as soon as you kind of saw the announcement, 'cause I think it was in Property Industry I think, or one of the platforms start off when they kind of announced the model, you kind of gave Adam a call, or it kind of was it on your
No,
radar already, and sort of you're in that communications in the
I
background?
was, I was lucky enough that I was introduced to it well before the announcement, and I was talking to Adam for some time, and was a bit involved actually in how it would be offered out to the UK agents, and so there was a couple of us who knew about it, well before, and I signed a declaration about 9, 10 months before it announced that I was going to join to say that I would be one of the first. So yeah, so I was, had time on my side to get my head around it because I couldn't go straight away. Couldn't, so that was quite useful, in fact, because I could start getting my plan together and work out. And changing a CRM, is one thing in your business, but when you're changing the whole model and the CRM is another. Yeah, so it didn't come with it. Yeah, it's not like just flicking a switch and you've made the change. You've got a lot of work to do.
And did you have team members in your business at that time? Because I appreciate from my knowledge of it, obviously the structure for them changes by default as well when you join the teams model rather
Yeah,
than just kind of you.
there's a bit of a misconception sometimes regarding that structure because I think everyone thinks that you've got to have no staff employed.
Mm.
You've got to have no agents, client facing, winning business employed. But you can still have support team members. So I've still got viewing specialists, I've still got admin support, I've still got my media team in employed roles. They all believe in this model and they're all probably thinking at some point down the line, they may go down the self-employed route if they become agents. But yeah, anyone who's an agent, winning business needs to be their own, partner agent, self-employed.
And so at that time, did you have anyone in your business that kind of ticked that box? You might have had a, I don't know,
Yes, yeah. So
negotiator or a
everybody's
value or whatever.
Yeah, so we just transitioned. Yeah, so yeah, we started off, with I think three agents who were already self-employed,
Mhm.
and it's growing at the moment. I had a meeting last night with two more actually looking to join the team, so that's exciting. And I had one this morning actually go live, so yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, so
And talk me through the, I guess the biggest kind of reason, sort of the draw to it to start off with was probably a financial one. I'd imagine you probably saw your right move bill every month and your CRM bill every month and thought,
to be honest,
well,
it wasn't so much the finances, because yeah, depending on how you look at it in different ways, you dive in because there are obviously other fee generating mechanisms within this model. Um, but it was more, I bought into Adam, to be honest. I'm very much I've always played my best in the sporting world in a team, and when I look back, 14 years on my own, I was running a race on my own. I was part of other networks, and you felt supported in some way or another, but I didn't really feel like I was in it together with anyone. So I've got some great friends like Jamie, who's joined the same model, and we're working quite closely together now. And it's given us, we do feel like we're in it together because we're under the same network. There's financial benefits for us to help each other as well. But yeah, so I think I just bought into Adam really. Adam. I sat down with Adam. I was like, do I want to join him on this mission, and do I want to work with this guy? And then I met his sponsor in America, and yeah, spoke to him, and I was like, yeah, this is for me. This is for me. I feel like I can join this club, still run my own things. So I've not been I'm not selling out to corporate big beast, but I feel yeah, I've said it a few times actually. I feel supported and hugged in a way and encouraged where I can just go and do my own thing. But also the things I didn't like about running my own business, a lot of those have been taken away, which is great. Like,
and talk me through about how your sort of agency role and life has changed because there is probably now an element of it of more of sort of is it agent acquisition, is that the official term for kind of getting agents on board sort of thing. Are you more focused on that than you have done historically? Because obviously with the model you're at, are you spending less time sort of actually kind of the day-to-day selling houses? How does your sort of time split in your sort of diary these days?
yeah, so agent attraction, I think you're alluding to there, like so, yeah, trying to attract agents to the model and try to attract agents to my team. Yeah, so I'm enjoying that part because I do enjoy talking to agents. And my first boss, Barry, he got out of agency when he was about 38. I'm 45 this year, and I think the general public can wear you down over a period of time. And I think trying something new, it gives it a bit more excitement. I'd been through some tough times everyone did in lockdown, but my right hand man, who sort of I built the business around, nearly died in 2022. So that took a lot of out of the team. That sort of took a lot out of me, and dealing with that. And his brother works with us as well. So you know, I'd gone through a lot. So I think when there was something in front of me, because I've been through a tough time, I was like, this is an opportunity. This is exciting. This has given me a focus, and I've just dived in. And yes, I'm not doing as many advice meetings as I used to do and out pitching and stuff. But I'm not forgetting about the core business. I want to carry on growing that and grow that
Yeah.
locally and as the brokerage grows. So that really excites me. But yes, there is another focus elsewhere trying to help EXP grow in the UK here.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's kind of a little bit of a chicken and egg sort of situation, isn't it? Because you need to have sort of a good agency business alongside you to then say, actually, come and be with us and we can do a good job and this is how we kind of grow sort of thing. Whereas if you haven't got that sort of thing and without cringing too much, you do see the odd person on social media who go, great, join X brand and
Yeah.
X so and so, and they haven't even listed their first house yet. And you're like, well,
Yes.
you're not really walking the walk there sort of thing. So,
No,
you know,
exactly. So the growth and the expansion of my core business is going to be help attract more agents, isn't it? Naturally, but and I love that part still. I still love the marketing side. I love supporting agents coming up with ideas. I was with an agent yesterday, giving them some tips for like an Easter campaign, and I've always been I trained in graphic design, so I've been quite you know forward thinking and trying to always think about the new marketing ideas. The actual doing the compliance checks and all that sort of stuff's never been my forte. Yeah, filing or Excel spreadsheets, that's not my bag. But luckily enough, I work with some excellent people. Two of them were actually in that other room just there because the internet's gone down in the office today. That's why I'm at this lovely hotel around the corner.
Yeah, for those that are listening in and can't see Adam today, he's in a very grand house with a very grand fireplace behind him, sort of thing. He's putting my virtual background to shame.
It's actually where the Great British Bake Off was filmed for 5 years in a row. So
Oh,
yeah,
well, there
it's
we go. There you go.
yeah,
Shameless claim to fame.
yeah.
So, speaking of fame, brilliant segue. So you've got a couple of Olympic athletes who seem to be in some of your presentations. So Roger Black and Steve
Yes,
Backley. So how did
yeah.
that come around?
Well, they're ambassadors for the brokerage, and I met them 2023 December. Sat on the same table at a Christmas dinner, got chatting, and they're really into the mindset, and they're hugely into like coaching people, and they both bring different things to the table. But I was really like starstruck. Oh my goodness, yeah. And they did a little video for my mum because my mum used to like them both. Went, pin up poster boys and stuff in the 90s. And so they did a little video and I thought, yeah, so down to earth. And they asked me a few questions about why I was one of the first because they found the mindset of that of like, it's not proven, you're risking your existing brand. And I've had, when I went live, I had some LinkedIn and some WhatsApp DMs from big agents going, "What are you doing?" Like, and with swear words as well. Like, you're going to kill your career here. What are you doing? And I was like, "No, I believe it." I don't think, yeah. A couple of them have out now, now joined. But I really, found their coaching, and their mindset just amazing that night. And they reached out to me in the New Year, said, "Can we come and see your office? It was really interested meeting you. I'd love to meet your team." And they came out, saw us, started playing golf with Steve a little bit, and then as ambassadors, they're heavily involved in property, and they're not agents, but they could see a big angle for helping you know entrepreneurs, whether they're agents or not, but they're focusing on the property sector and helping their mindset because they could see that you need two things in agency. You know how to do the job, and you need to have the right mindset, which will give you the discipline and to make sure that you're doing the doing. So yeah, we've teamed up and created this community of called Real Agency where we're putting on events. We've done some here. And we've got some plans, throughout the year for doing some other things. We've launched a golf society for agents, and it's just a nice place for people to get to connect. Yes, we are trying to recruit. Yeah, that not hiding behind that, but it's all about helping agents. So we're working with some amazing people as well, creating some online courses as well, and learning. So yeah, so that's how it came about, and they're coaching me. They've changed my life in the last year. I've worked with many business coaches over the years, but I think having that, I'm really into sport, so I used to play quite good level golf, and I've played lots of other sports, and their relation to like taking that sport versus business, and I really relate with that. So, and I think a lot of other agents do too.
So what have they taught you that's kind of changed the way you look at either business or self-employedness? Because I'd imagine there's two camps that people fall into when they kind of hear that Olympic athletes are kind of helping businesses.
Yeah.
But number one, they'll go, well, what do they know about selling properties? They've never done a valuation before in their life, sort of thing. Or there'll be the other half who are like, oh my God, they've won a gold medal, silver medal sort of thing. They must have that kind of drive, that motivation, their focus sort of thing. So really, kind of really, you're in or out, basically, I would say.
I think it's I find the fact that they've got that balcony view, like looking down on the industry, and at the end of the day, you've got to market yourself to get houses, and you've got to give a good service. That's quite simple, isn't it? So, uh, and they break it down. I was listening to Steve on a podcast yesterday, and I've heard him talk about the same sort of subject before, and there's formulas, and I won't go into it, in detail here, but it's just having that, breaking it down to, having a goal and a clear vision. And I think the thing I was looking for, in my career, the 14 years and the 10 years before that, was I didn't really have a clear vision. I didn't have the end goal in mind, whereas I think athletes they do, and professional sportsmen, elite, top of their game, they really have the end, and you've got to have that working towards something. And I take that back into my sporting world. Whenever I was working towards a tournament, I had a plan to get to that tournament. Whereas I think there's elements in my career where I was just like, you'd hit your goal, but you wouldn't reset another goal, and you'd get to that turnover or that profit margin, and it didn't feel that great, Whereas now I feel like I've got a real purpose and a clear vision. And Steve and Roger, both of them collectively, because they do come as a pair, are helping me with that, massively in the last year, and giving me that confidence as well. Because also I think a lot of agents, a lot of fantastic agents out there don't look back and think, actually, what I've done, what people have helped, and clients have helped moves, or the team members come through. You don't often look back and give yourself a little pat on the back. So I think you've got sometimes to have that moment and look back and think, yeah, yes, that was tough, or that was a good year, and it's all part of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I can't remember what I was listening to the other day. It was either a podcast or reading a book on a subject about it, and it was kind of saying that as humans and as people sort of thing, it's the horizon never gets there. So when you look forward to something, you always go, I want to earn more money or do more holidays or whatever it may be. That horizon's always never kind of get there sort of thing. But actually, when you kind of stop where you are today and actually look back for the last 3 years, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it may be, and go, actually, 6 months ago I had no properties for sale, and now I've got 20 properties for sale. You can actually see the gain you've made. Where I think generally people look forward rather than backwards.
Yeah, 100%. I think an agent's a typical have a winning mentality. Good agents, don't they? And I think that you always beat yourself at a sale fall through. I was talking to an agent this morning. He's had a fantastic year. He's come out, come out of the blocks, and he's, I think he's doing a remarkable. But he's had two fall throughs. He was really, really down. And I was like, it happens. It will happen. People pull out. People's lives change. But look back at what you've done. You'd have taken this 12 months ago, like, with what you've achieved so far. So I think, working with any type of coach is important, I think. But they're making a massive difference to my life and the people in real agency. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think as humans in general, we could have 100 5-star reviews, but we'll find that 1-star review very quickly and read it 10 times over, sort of thing, and really get caught up on that. And where I do joke with the clients I work with that say, look, I'm 90% estate agency coach, 10% counsellor, because I will get phone calls where like I've had a fall through, this person's done this, they've changed their mind, and after they've kind of ranted and vexed for the last kind of 10 minutes or so, I go, look, would you do anything differently next time? What would you change off the back of it? They're like, well, no, I generate the lead, I got the market appraisal, I got the listing, did a great job presenting it, I sold it, great buyer, thank you very much. Just because their buyer pulled out sort of thing, there wasn't much we could do about it sort of thing. Okay, well, great. Well, let's hang on to that sort of thing. Then we did all the right things. The result wasn't there. We did the right stuff, and next time it can pull through quite
Yeah,
easily.
you've just got to control the controllables, isn't it? And you're not in, we are in a job where we're market driven as well, aren't we? Interest rates go up 10% today. None of us are going to have a pipeline left, are they?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, 100%. So let's talk about what you think agents are missing today. So what do you think if you walked into the average estate agency, what are they sort of missing, and sort of where do you think the biggest opportunity for growth is for their business for kind of the next 12 months or a couple of years?
um, agents missing. Well, I suppose a lot of it comes down to the coaching we said, collaboration and community. And I think I think building a community in your local area of people who are your raving fans, or when I look back when I launched my business, I focused heavily on the golf club. and getting seen up there and got involved, and I did some sponsorship of the pro-am and some other competitions. So I was just soft, I wasn't out there doing, you know, um, massive marketing, but I was just there in the background. So, and I was working with a business coach 5 years after I launched. I got to a certain size, and I thought I need some help here, how I can take this to the next level. And I remember did an exercise, and 87 point something percent of my business had come from the golf club, or the other two golf clubs I've previously been a member of. So I was doing all this other marketing. Back then was, 2 or 3 pages in the local press and all that sort of stuff. So I think, finding a thing that works and doubling. I was with an agent yesterday who is massive into community work, and he doesn't spend a lot of money doing it. He just goes to a lot of events, helps out, volunteers, and he's getting his business off the back of that. He's played the long game, and it's working tremendously well. So I think, as agents, we're typically shiny object syndrome, where we get attracted by the next best thing and prop tech, and you end up having all this stuff. But I think if you just focus on, one thing, you're going to get some results. Yes, you still need to have other things in the background, but I think having a lead source and focusing on that, and becoming that as a focus every day. Am I doing enough in that area? Can make a big change. But I think social media is huge as well. Yeah, social media and video marketing is how I've grown the business locally, and my personal brand and my team's personal brand as well.
I suppose the sort of the foundation for that is to make sure you monitor where your leads are coming through on the first place, because obviously, if you get
100%.
100 leads through and you've got no idea where they come from, then you don't really know where to start, sort of thing. You're just guessing at,
I
out
suppose,
there.
yeah, and I suppose that's where I sat with that coach, and he was like, "This is where you're getting your leads from." And that particular day, I'd left the golf club a year before. I'd stopped being a member because I got busy and I wasn't playing. And he told me to go back to the golf club and pay my membership, rejoin. And I rejoined. And I took some magazines down to the golf club, asked the reception if I could leave them in the reception, went and hit some balls, came back, and the lady come around, grabbed me in the car park. I said, "Is this your magazine? I saw you put them down." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can you come and value my house now? I'm just about to get a divorce." And I sold her house. So,
There you go.
he said, "You're not going to get any work unless you're going up there. If that's where your leads are coming from and you're converting those leads better than anywhere else in the leads you're getting, you've got to be up there." So that's when I started playing again. So,
Yeah, I used to have a client years and years ago who used to play hockey at a high level, and he used to get all his listings from hockey and financial services and solicitors. He literally met like 11 to 20 new guys every weekend playing
yeah,
hockey, sort of thing. He was just known as the estate agent. They say, "Oh yeah, yeah, go and see Ben," because
yeah.
he's the estate agent. You just meet new people every week, sort of thing, to go and see him.
I think, well, that naturally, right or wrongly, because you could be the world's worst estate agent at the golf club and everyone trusts you. But I think because they've got to know you over a period of time, and you've had that time of 5 hours with someone, there is an element of trust there, isn't it? So it elevates that. And I've seen people who've been in running clubs and all sorts of things, but I think you can't rely, you can't rely on just spending loads of money to get leads, can you? I think the best leads are the people who know you. I know some people who do it via networking groups. They might not be into sport or anything like that, and there's some really successful agents who get the majority of their leads from going from weekly, monthly networking.
So you talked about scaling and scaling businesses a few minutes ago. So
Yep.
what are some of the mistakes you've seen? Because you've gone from sort of on your own, I presume, to kind of where you are today. What are some of the mistakes that you saw or your business coach highlighted in your business, but that you were making or other people make when it comes to sort of scaling themselves from sort of a one person band to a team effectively?
I think the word team is huge, and team and culture. Um, I wish I knew back then what I know now about culture and team. I think um, I worked with the wrong people at times. They might have been lovely people, but they weren't. They didn't, have the same core, values as what I had. And although they were great people and I trusted them, maybe they weren't the right fit for me as where my career was going. And I wish I'd learned that sooner, because once you do get that, I'm lucky to have a fantastic team now. And since I've done a lot of work on culture and core values, and I was with these two agents last night, and I talk about them when they first meet with agents when they're looking to join the team, and I could tell both of them enjoyed that, and they had what I was looking for. Whereas other times I'll speak to someone, I think, no, you don't get it. It's going to end in tears. Whereas I've got that binocular sort of view now, where I can see it coming. Back then, I just trusted everyone. I liked everyone. I tried to see the good in everyone. Tried to change people. I think a lot of businesses are in the same boat. and they hold on to what, normally because they're nice people, and they but want to see the good in everyone. But if they haven't got it, you know, they haven't got it, have they? They've got to have that same, vision as a leader in the business.
Is it a case that estate agents generally like to be liked because obviously you meet a lot of strangers every day effectively in their property, and therefore you like to have that connection with them and like to be kind of the social person and get on well with everyone?
Yeah.
And do you think agents find it slightly harder to not have that slightly harder conversation because they want to get on well with people, they want to have that social thing, so therefore the wrong person, they're kind of like, well, yeah, but he turns up on time and he's not that, he doesn't drink that much in the day.
And he listed that 10 grand fee last month,
Yeah,
and
exactly, yeah.
yeah, 100%. I've struggled with that, and I'm talking about coaching a lot here, but yeah, 18 months ago I started working with a mind coach, separate to business, and just literally diving deep into how I deal with my relationships with people, and I realised heavily that I let things go too much. I let things annoy me, and I put the awkward conversations off. Whereas in the last 18 months now, I'm dealing with things head on, and I think a lot of agents I speak to are exactly the same because I think the trouble is in the world of agency, we are super busy, aren't we? So you must have that with agents you're speaking to every day, and you can hear it in their voice, and they're thinking about something else, and so I think we end up thinking, oh, we haven't got time for have that chat, and we'll put that off to tomorrow, and then something else happens, and so whereas if it'll make the leader or the manager or whatever it is feel a lot better if they just dealt with it there and then, which I'm learning to do. Yeah.
It's the whole eat the frog, I think is the expression, isn't it? I think it's the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
people get it done nice and early, you'll feel better for it, sort of thing. So
yeah.
talk me through. So there's obviously a lot of agents with EXP. I mean, I wouldn't like to hazard a guess how many you're up to now, five, six, seven
Just
hundred. I would guess
just
a
under
lot.
seven, just under 700.
There
Yeah.
we go, just under 700 agents. So, what separates the ones that do really well? Because if I go on my social media feed now, there'll be lots of them, screenshotting pipelines and whatever else it may be, and having the life sort of thing. There'll be other ones that are sort of the silent people in there who probably aren't doing so well. So, what would you reckon separates sort of the ones that are in the sort of the top 20% to compared to the 80%, for example?
Um, Growth mindset, I think, and having that knowledge as well of like, having a clear plan of what to do. I think, I'm not, I think there's a lot of talented agents in this model and other models which are underperforming, probably because they haven't got a clear plan. And they're sponsoring a roundabout in their town, thinking it's going to get them 10 leads a month and stuff like that, or trying these other things. I spoke to an agent the other day. I think I need an office. I said, you don't need an office. You do not need an office. You're not doing what I'm recommending you do. You need to do this, and this. So I think having a clear plan, starting any business is hard. You've got to have, you've got to be prepared mentally for the pain, the financial pain. Because we're in a industry. Would I be more nervous to start out on my own now than I did in 2010? 100%. Back then, if I sold something, got my money in eight weeks. Do you know what I mean? Now you're talking like half a year on average. So it's a hard thing to start, but there are agents, the ones that they're doing it well. Have all got great social media. They've got their foot to the pedal. They're not stopping. They're ones working till 10 o'clock at night. Um, and interesting enough, I do see a pattern. So when I go to a lot of events like yourself, and you see the same faces at these events, and that's not just talking about EXPS, talking about in business, estate agents in general in the UK. The ones with a growth mindset, looking to improve, looking to get that 1% marginal gain, they're there at every event mostly. But the ones who need help don't go to these things, and it doesn't mean that you have to spend £500 for a ticket to go to an event. There's lots of free events within the model. There's lots of free events out there anyway, or like networking where agents get together. So there's one today in Leicester. So I think if you put yourself, you got to get where you want to go. You've got to do the work. You've got to do the training. You've got to do you've got to go to these events, pick up these little golden nuggets. You mentioned John Savage. I know he's been on. He did an event here which was free. We had 30 people come a couple of weeks ago, and there was so many golden. But there were some people who the five or six people in the day who didn't come. I could have wrote those names down before. They're probably the ones who are going to cancel last minute because um, you know, they don't see the real benefit in going to learn something new so they can help their clients and help themselves as well. I
Do,
mean,
do you think that many agents, when they go self-employed, they underestimate the importance of knowing how to run an estate agency rather than just being a good estate agent. So I imagine lots of agents sit there and go, right, I'm a good estate agent, put me in the living room and get me on the phone with a valuation and an offer sort of thing, and I'll do the job, I'll do the deal sort of thing. But then do you think they underestimate sort of how important the estate agency sort of wrap around the outside of that is with regard to your marketing and your, budgets and your spends and your socials and all that sort of stuff that makes the rest of it work?
100%. And I probably did when I started as well. I was lucky that I was very, I enjoyed the marketing side. Yeah, that some agents it doesn't come naturally, ideas or whatever. Yeah. So, and when you've got, like you're a rabbit in the headlights and you've got lots of things going on wrong and you've had a bad month or, listings are low and you've had a fall through and you've got your tax bill to pay. You can get this like I know that overwhelming feeling where you don't know where to turn, and so you've got to have a clear plan. And I've spoken to agents who have gone self-employed, during their journey in the first 18 months, and I can sense it now, like that they're going to get, even the successful ones, you can sense when they're going to hit burnout and they're going to hit that point where they've hit their target, and then they're going to be like, this isn't that fun, they may have hit their financial goal and they've, financially secure for the first time in their life and they've changed their life, but all of a sudden they hit this wall of, and I remember being like that. And I spoke to one in October, September last year, and he phoned me up and I was like chatting to him. I was like, I could sense this was coming. And he was like, really? I was like, what is it? I was like, you just need to set new goals. You've not, you need to have some time out. You need to have a holiday. You need to think back, pat yourself on the back. You've done that bit and you need to go on. Because I remember doing that. When I first launched, I was like, once I get to 250 grand, turnover, I know I've cracked it. And I didn't feel like I cracked it when I got there because I had all these other costs which I didn't have at the beginning, and the stresses that come with it, and staff holiday, and managing that. So it's I think the answer to your question is yes. I think a lot of people in business in general underestimate what it takes to run a business, and the sacrifice that comes along with that. I sacrificed a hell of a lot in my personal life. My wife, backed me. I'm lucky that she, I don't, I think that is important as well. You need to have an understanding partner because it's not about gaining 10 hours a week extra from going from employed to self-employed. You're losing an extra, extra chunk of your life. I remember, doing Sunday viewings, evenings. It's a hard place out there.
And I was chatting to a client yesterday where he's had a really good start to his business. So launched his business back in March, April, May last year, sort of thing. So probably 10 months ago, whatever it may be. And he's at the stage now where he's got about 15 to 20 properties for sale, 15, 20 properties under offer. And I said to him yesterday, I said, look, obviously you need to start sort of getting some help on board. And he said, yeah, to be honest with you, if I grow the business for any further from where I am at the moment, I'll probably jump out of a window. And he said, I'll probably jump out a window and I won't enjoy going to work. I'll resent going to work. I'll feel like I'm kind of being the donkey that's whipped every time. And no matter how much money I make, it won't really make a difference. I'll just feel like I'm just kind of working, working, working sort of thing. So I think for a lot of people, it's kind of remembering why you've kind of got into that business in the first place. And you're absolutely right. When you get to that landmark figure of having 20 properties for sale or under offer, and I get to 200 grand or whatever it may be, actually, why did you do it in the first place? Was it to work every hour of the day? Probably not. Was it to spend more time with your family and have a nice holiday sort of thing? That's probably more the direction most people go in. So it's kind of having that structure in mind later on down the line and sort of designing your business with that in place.
Yeah, and that's a sort of result of his success, isn't he? He maybe didn't think that he was going to get to that 20 and 20 that quick. So 10 and 10 he could cope with probably in his sleep. But all of a sudden you've got a problem there, and you have to go through these growing pains, don't you? Where is it in the right time to get two extra people doing some admin or answering the phones or doing something, viewings. So and it's a risk as well, isn't it, when you take someone on as well, isn't it? So and you get extra help, but you can, you don't have to. You can outsource a lot now, can't you? Yeah,
Yeah,
VA,
100%.
VAs and sales progression, which I think needs to be in someone's mind when they start as well, because that can get you to where you want to get to a lot quicker.
I think that the maturity of business mindset is sort of an early mindset. It's kind of like, I'm good at everything and I can do it all myself and I can put it all on my shoulders and I can carry it sort of thing.
Well, it's
I think,
enjoyable as well, isn't it? When you're
well,
doing that as well. This is
absolutely.
fun.
Absolutely. And I think, but as you sort of mature in your mindset of a business, you kind of go, actually, I'm not the best at this. I'm not the best at that. And actually, if I can get someone in who is an expert at doing that and they can kind of take that off my plate and do a better job for it as well, then that's a big win for the business. But I think lots of people try and do too much themselves for a too long a period of time.
And a very clever guy once said to me, you're never going to get another you, or maybe you've got a superstar in your business, that unicorn. He said you just need two people half as good as that other person.
Mm.
So yeah, that'll get you the same result. So I think that comparing yourself to others when they're joining as well, I think that's a thing to get your head around because I struggled to delegate and pass things over in the early days, and you wanted to do every viewing. I still have it now. Like I'm looking at the diary today. There's a viewing for a big house, a very important client. I'm like, should I go and do that? After the school run, should I run over there and do? But I'm like, no, you've got to trust, trust someone else to do it. But yeah, so I think that's important to think like that as well.
So talk to me about real agency. So you've alluded to it a few times. So let's talk about it. So you've got a Facebook group, you've got events. So what's the message here? What's going
Just
on?
trying to create a community. I love being part of a brokerage, but I was lucky enough to go to a 5 day conference in America last year. Got to meet some amazing people who have had great careers over the last 10, 15 years. And three or four of them have created these like groups where it's networking, chatting, not selling to anyone. Suppliers can come, solicitors. So the one last week we had some solicitors, some suppliers come, but strict rule like you're not going to sit there selling someone, but it's all about just sharing and creating that. So the two Olympians, Roger and Steve, did some Olympic mindset sets. John Savage has done one. Next one's I've got Elaine from Lemon and Lime and
Right,
another
great.
and interior designer. So talking about agents, how you can advise your clients. And yes, everyone wants to. Yeah, I'm sure Elaine wants more business. I'm sure Sam, the interior designer, wants more business. But it's not about being sold to. It's about creating that. And the best part of these events is, not taking anything away from the speakers. It's actually afterwards having coffee, having a chat, and sharing ideas, which I've always loved about going to conferences and things. So we're doing it, Jamie, myself. There's John and Alex are getting involved as well with Steve and Roger. And early days, and we are looking to take it, around the country. We're planning another couple of golf days as well. So it's trying to create a place where it's a community, and there's support there for each other. And then once if you become a real agency club member, then there's added benefits after that. So webinars and one-to-ones and regular get-togethers face to face and to help each other. To create a lot of mastermind groups and things like that. So it's early days, but we're enjoying it, and it's going quite well.
Good. I like it. I like seeing that sort of thing go online. Always like seeing that sort of content. Anything that helps agents succeed, I'm all
Yeah,
over sort of thing.
yeah,
So I love that. So final question for yourself. So if you were to go back 15, 20 years in time and you were going to launch your own estate agency today,
yeah.
where would you start? Where's your first instructions coming from? What would be your focus be? Where would you spend your time?
Back then or right now?
Right today. Right today.
So if I was starting right today, I would double down on social media, and probably before I'd even go live, I'd be building that community. I'd be getting known in all the Facebook groups. I would be I'd understanding or reach out and work with a digital marketing expert. I'm lucky enough to work with Chris Kay, and working with someone who really knows marketing and how to nurture leads is very, very important. And I would find a source of source of leads locally. Mine was a golf club. I'll do exactly as what I did back then, and just double down on it. And whether that's going to a networking group, joining a tennis club, getting to know people. There's an agent in Essex I know who's a part of a tennis club. He gets tons and tons. He loves tennis. He's up there 3 or 4 times a week, probably more. And he gets most of his work from the tennis club, from recommendations. And another thing as well, actually, is talking about fee. And working with a coach like yourself, a consultant, or someone who can hold you accountable, because it's a lonely place on your own. So if you've got a coach, making sure that you're doing what you should be doing. You might be worth 2%, but if you're only charging 0.5%, you're going to get the results 0.5% gets you. So I think having a real plan on, business plan is key to not just going live and thinking, oh, right, I'm an estate agent, I'm my own business owner. You've got to have a detailed plan. And I think that's never been more important, actually, in this market we're in at the moment, because you can quickly have 40 on the market, overpriced, charging the wrong fee, and not making any money. Whereas you've got to know your clients, because we know how tough it is out there. And it's not like putting a property on the market and everything's getting loads of interest. So you've got to be able to give the right advice, charge what you're worth, and give a good service. So.
Adam, thank you for your time. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.